Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 9. Today we're going to be doing a breakdown video on the interview Grant Gustin just did with TV Line. Also, TV Line released a sneak peek for our next episode, so we're going to be breaking that all down in today's video. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DCTV videos later this year. Okay guys, so The Flash has finished filming. We know that it's been finished for like maybe a month as of right now, and obviously I don't think it's hit properly yet, but we're starting to see some interviews of Grant Gustin going around. He was on the Today Show, and also just now he was on TV Line, and they did a very long interview with him teasing the final season but also the final episodes and what's going to be happening. He does reveal some very interesting things. Some are spoilery, some will be addressed in another video, because I feel like there's this one bit where he talks about Teddy Sears that definitely deserves its own video. But for now, let's go into the sneak peek for this week's episode. Obviously, The Flash is airing on Wednesdays right now, and when I'm recording this video, it is a Monday. So lucky for us, we got a sneak peek very early. We haven't really been getting many sneak peeks until like maybe the first few hours before The Flash comes out, and so this is quite rare. But basically, the episode that's coming up, we know is one of our final interlude episodes, and it's an episode where Barry and Iris are going to be trapped inside Star Labs in some sort of time loop situation where something goes down, and that something happens in this clip. And so you see a bunch of people inside Star Labs that obviously we don't recognize. They are inspecting mold that has been reported inside Star Labs. I don't know if it's a usual thing that people just show up and check it out because it's a big facility, or whether someone actually ordered it to happen. And so nevertheless, they are inside Star Labs in this clip, as you'll see on the screen here. Barry and Iris dealing with them. They can't get a hold of the rest of Team Flash. So this episode is going to be heavy on Barry and Iris because they're going to be stuck here. And so they have like this mini discussion because they think something else is going on. They think this is not normal, and the guy at the start of the clip claims there's like two facilities that are duplicates of each other. So yeah, I have no idea what's going on, but as Iris says in the clip, they don't think it's actually anyone attacking them. It doesn't feel like anything like that from the past. It's probably something different. And so I think that something different, as I've theorized about before, is the mold in Star Labs has been affecting Star Labs, and so they needed this inspection. But I believe maybe it's got so bad that it's at a point where it's actually inside the place where the particle accelerator went off, and maybe has been manipulating and somewhat intertwined with the dark matter that has been left over inside Star Labs due to the particle accelerator going off all those years ago. And so this mold has been festering there for years. It's never been dealt with, and I believe maybe if it was dealt with earlier, this wouldn't have been happening. And so I have to tend to agree with Barry and Iris that I don't think there is any attack going on in this episode. I think the kind of time loop situation that they find themselves in is no one's particular fault, but Barry and Iris, being the only two people there, are going to be the ones affected by it. And so they're going to have to figure out a way to fix the situation after this mold inspection that creates some sort of time anomalies. That's how it's been described to us. And so also in the synopsis, it's interesting. It says stuck in the past, racing to the future. So perhaps this is actually going to be in the past, and it's not just going to be like a time loop where they're stuck in the present over and over again like we got at the start of the season, because obviously that would be repetitive. And Grant Gustin has described this episode as a kind of like sitcom bottle episode, so it's definitely going to be playing into that kind of humorous aspect of the show, but also playing into that kind of mystery of like they have no idea what's going on, and so Barry and Iris are going to be confused this whole time, and they're just going to have to figure a way to get back to their reality. And meanwhile, Team Flash are going to be off-site away from Star Labs, and that's why they're not going to be affected by this time anomaly. But Barry could seriously be messing up things, as he suggests in this sneak peek that he should run forward in time, figure out how they actually escape this, and come back to the present and fix it. obviously that is very brash and Iris isn't so much into it, but then she changes her mind, and I think that's like a little bit out of character, and I get why this is a bottle episode, and I don't think there's going to be too much consequence. I think with Barry phasing through the wall in this clip and running to the future, he's going to run into some obstacle, and that is the time anomaly blocking him from potentially going to the future or something along those lines. And I don't think Barry's going to be successful in this situation, but as I said, I don't think there's going to be too many consequences. But it's interesting that this is the angle that they're going to go with first, and it's funny seeing Barry phase through the wall, because normally he just like runs out, but I guess in this case he's just like phasing through, maybe to be undetected by the people that are inspecting Star Labs. But yeah, so what do you guys think about this? Let me know down in the comments below. You can check out this clip, there is a link in the description below. But for now, let's move on to our second main topic, and this is linked to this because TV Line did this interview with Grant Gustin to do with the final season and the finale and teasing everything to come. And so they also released the sneak peek that we just broke down, and so it's just like kind of all involved together. So yeah, once again, links in the description below. But let's get into what Grant Gustin had to say. There is a bunch of stuff, as I said at the start of the video, but I'm going to break down the most important bits, and I'm going to talk about the Teddy Sears angle of this interview, which I'm sure you guys are going to hear and be interested about if you watch the TV Line interview, but we're going to break that down in a separate video. And so for now, let's get into this. So TV Line asked a question to Grant in terms of what he felt like during those final days of shooting. His response was that he was feeling pride in those last few weeks of shooting, although it was bittersweet that it was ending, because again, he's been doing it for such a long time, like 9+ years, 9 seasons, and it's about to finally come to an end. And so he says he was ready, despite it being a definitely bittersweet moment for him, because they had a lot of time to prepare. If you guys remember, it was announced way back when that the Flash season 9 was going to be happening, but would also be the final season. So I think that's a good thing when networks do that, and when everyone comes to the agreement that the show's going to come to an end and they get to plan a proper ending for the show. And so in terms of Grant, he was prepared for it, but again, it was still bittersweet. And another question was asked in regards to the Arrowverse as a whole and crossovers and what it was like. So he said basically he always tried to focus on the Flash, but it was great having guest stars. And he even said the guest stars are the secret source of the Flash. We've heard him say that before, but he emphasizes it once again, that sometimes in certain seasons the guest stars carried them. And I think that's very true for, you know, multiple seasons. Obviously we all have our own opinion about each different season and who are our favorite guest stars. There's definitely some that I can list off, like anytime Melissa shows up and there is a crossover, like the musical crossover is one of my favorite episodes of The Flash. But then Grant went on to say, and this is the most important part, so listen in guys, we wanted to make everyone who was a part of the Arrowverse a part of our last season, because really it was the Arrowverse wrapping up. It didn't really feel like the Flash wrapping up, it did feel like the whole thing was wrapping up. He's referring to the Arrowverse here, and he says in some way it did make it a little easier knowing that the party is not going to keep on going without us. It's like we're shutting this place down. So obviously here he is referring to the fact that the Arrowverse is ending, as far as we know, and it seems like Grant is actually confirming that, because in some ways for him he felt like it was easier knowing that maybe this would be the last kind of step for the Arrowverse, and that's why they wanted to get so many characters from their past to show up, which is great for the fans, but at the same time it's bittersweet in the situation that we're in, because we have Superman and Lois, we have Gotham Knights, and that is pretty much about it. They aren't planning to do any more shows beyond maybe Justice U, but I doubt that's even going to happen at this rate. And so with them knowing that the Arrowverse is kind of not heading in a path where it's going to be creating a bunch of new shows like it was in the past, so when Arrow ended or when Supergirl ended, no one had the feeling that, oh, we're ending our show, but we're also kind of ending the Arrowverse. So in a way, I understand what Grant is saying, that he felt like they were doing something bigger. It wasn't just wrapping the Flash up, it was wrapping up the whole thing, the whole Arrowverse that so many people worked on over the years. And I guess in some ways it made it a little easier knowing that the party's not going to go on and that they're shutting this place down. So yeah, I guess there is some kind of jealousy. I don't know what it's like for actors and people who work on the shows to see other shows continuing that are linked to your past show. I understand that. Like, I would feel like, oh, maybe I'm missing out on something if another show like The Flash was going on and you're Stephen Amell or Melissa Benoist looking at all these shows continuing. But in the case of Grant, he doesn't really have that, because the only show he's ending before that is linked to the Arrowverse is Superman Lois. Gotham Knights isn't even linked right now beyond who is making the show. But Superman Lois has made it pretty clear that they want to stay in their own universe. They want to have this superverse where it's a different Earth, but it's still the Arrowverse characters, but they're just different people. And so I want to get your thoughts on this in the comments down below. What do you think about Grant Gustin saying, we're shutting this place down, and it's pretty much him inferring that the Arrowverse is going to end? Obviously, there's been no big statement that the Arrowverse is over. Nothing like that has come out, but I feel like this is the closest thing we're going to get to that until we get to know what's going on with Superman Lois in the future, because as of right now, we don't know if season 3 is going to be the last season, or are they going to continue past season 3 to season 4, whether it's on the CW or not. But that kind of continues the Arrowverse if that is the case. But if Superman Lois stops with season 3, which I really hope it doesn't, what Grant is saying is going to be right, because basically they are wrapping up the Arrowverse, because it's the last main center Arrowverse show that is set on Earth Prime. So yeah, that pretty much does it for my breakdown on all of this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Remember, check out the sneak peek in the description below. That episode's coming out this Wednesday, and you can watch TV Line's interview with Grant Gustin in full. It's about 10 minutes long. It's actually a pretty good interview. That is in a link in the description below, so go check that out if you want to see what Grant had to say for himself in person. And so that pretty much does it. Please be sure to leave a like and a comment. It would really help out the channel. Also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. We're uploading daily right now, so don't miss out on any video. And so you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video. But for now, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.